One of the questions that comes up a lot when prospective applicants are looking into our program is, what does it mean when we say that we have a wellness promotion emphasis? So there are actually several components of what we mean by this that I want to address. The first is that our emphasis does not show up as a single rotation or a rotation site or experience, but rather we really look at wellness promotion as sort of a mindset and something that is embedded throughout the program year in each of the major rotation areas. So I'll give some examples of what that looks like, but I also just want to explain kind of what it means. What is wellness promotion to us? The first thing that I would say is that wellness promotion often takes the form of working with the community to promote healthy behaviors and choices on the preventive side. Of course, our interns also spend a lot of time in acute settings, utilizing dietetics and nutrition treatment, but there are many ways throughout the program year that our interns do get to function on that prevention side. And that is, I think, a really important part of wellness promotion. Another aspect of what wellness promotion means to us is focusing on wellness in the big picture. Rather than only addressing physical health, we do work on and talk about how to support health and wellness in a more well-rounded way. So for instance, we talk about environmental wellness. I'll come back to that in an example in a moment. And we also look at wellness, for instance, when it comes to emotional well-being. Some of the ways that that comes into play are especially relevant in our didactic setting. So I just want to talk about that first, and then I'll look at where wellness promotion comes up in our rotations. On the didactic side, and these are just a few examples, but we do dive pretty deeply into cultural competence and challenges of cross-cultural communication, because of course we really believe that making connections with your clients and supporting them, again, not just looking at disease state or food choices, but really looking at what is going to serve them best to help them reach their goals and feel comfortable with the choices that we are encouraging. That is going to best promote their own success and their ability to achieve their goals. Another aspect where this plays out in our didactic sessions is through looking at emotional components of the work that we do. So for instance, this year we are adding a new class component that we anticipate will continue in years going forward, where we're partnering with students in the interns in the Atascadero State Hospital internship, which is very close to us. And we are going to be participating in a didactic series of classes on trauma-informed care. And so really looking at how our work as health professionals and health educators is impacted by and how we need to be sensitive to potential trauma among the clients and community members we serve. Another aspect to this is looking at bias in healthcare. In particular, in our program, we place a fair emphasis on weight bias and really look at promoting body positivity and weight-neutral health recommendations as appropriate in the community and for our clients and patients. And we talk a lot about what health at every size means and kind of look at it from different angles, especially for people who have not been introduced to that concept before. I know it can be challenging and not comfortable for everyone, but we want our dietitians to spend some time thinking about how taking that weight neutral approach to promoting healthy nutrition, physical activity, and lifestyle choices can best promote wellness, and again, goal achievement, and health among our clients. So those are some of the ways that this comes up in Dietetic. And now I'll just briefly talk about where this comes up in our rotations. So probably the most obvious example is on our community rotations. And I think it's important to point out that our interns go to 3 different community rotation sites. They get to prioritize which ones they want to be assigned to. And in each one, our interns will complete a wellness promotion project. So that's 3 times that they will complete this rather complex project with a lot of moving parts, where they take the lead on initiating some kind of wellness promoting initiative. So that can look very different depending on the site and the community and their needs. But each time the intern is doing real world hands-on work, these are not projects that are done, just to check off a box. These are actually initiatives that are implemented at the sites, and most often the interns get to be there to see the fruits of their labor. And so this is, again, an opportunity for our interns to think often very creatively about how to spread positive health promoting messages to the communities being served by each site. In the clinical settings, in particular, I'm going to focus on the hospital rotation because that acute care experience is the longest part of our clinical rotations. So a lot of times in the hospital setting, we're very focused on inpatient, and that is still where most of the time is spent in that hospital experience. However, all of our clinical sites also offer opportunities for our interns to complete outpatient experiences through the hospital, where they get to do outpatient counseling and also group education. And again, this gives them the opportunity to help encourage those healthy behaviors and promote health and well-being on that broader, more well-rounded scale, and often on the preventive side, and certainly with more time to really spend and connect with those clients being served in that setting than they often can in the acute care setting. As a side note, this is not always built into the hospital rotation because it just sort of depends on what opportunities arise during the time that the interns are there. But often our interns also get the opportunity to represent the hospital at a community health promotion event. And so usually that means creating activities and interacting with community members at the hospital's table at that health fair. So that's another fun way to promote health and well-being in kind of a different, fun, interactive setting. And then finally, I'll talk about the food service management rotation. So once again, we build in opportunities during the management rotation for our interns to present in a group setting to community members in order to promote health and wellness. So that is one aspect, but also something that is embedded into our food service management rotation is a sustainability project. And so here is where we come back to that idea of environmental health, that level of wellness. And so that project, again, will look different depending on the facility and its needs at the time, but our interns dive deep into finding opportunities to make the facility's practices greener and more sustainable, and again, to promote environmental wellness. And we have that sustainability piece also built into several of our community sites. A lot of our facilities are following a lot of sustainable practices, everything from school gardens, which include educational components, as well as utilizing the food in the schools. But also there are some really cool things being done at some of our current sites for food service management in regards to using all of the food, even the pieces that a lot of people would throw away, to new composting initiatives, to changing the materials being used at the site to, reduce plastic. So there are a lot of varieties of examples. But again, I hope that that gives you a pretty good picture of how we really have made efforts to infuse the entire internship year with opportunities for our interns to engage in wellness promotion.